Hey guys, this is Tiffany, and I am so excited because I've been waiting all year. I'm sure most of you guys have, and it's finally out. RWBY Volume 5 has finally graced us with its presence. Thank you, Rooster Teeth. And this first episode of Volume 5 is called Welcome to Haven, and it opens, and of course, here we go, just that immediate insight. We see it opens with Haven, which is gorgeous, like the waterfalls, the just the scenery is incredible. It picks up right where it left off, where we have Ruby and Jean and Ren, and we have of course Nora and just their group with Crow, and they're here at Haven, and trying to figure out what's going on. And we also see Weiss, who is still, obviously very kind of caught up in what she's just had to overcome in this latest season with her dad and just everything that's happened with her. And from the opening and just from what we saw last season, we know that her semblance has gotten stronger. She's able to, create and manipulate now with, which is, I can't wait to see it in action when she finally does join the fight and start teaming up, hopefully, with, I would imagine, RWBY and with Yang and Blake and all of them. And so they basically, there was, I'm trying to think of this, there was like a distress signal that was coming from Haven. They run into Professor Lionheart, who is, obviously a little freaked out by them, doesn't expect them. It's almost like he's scared of someone and he's all by himself. And they make the mention that the relic is unguarded, which is very uncommon, very suspicious, because you don't do that. You don't leave it unguarded. And of course, Nora and her, comedy is very quick in this episode. So really happy to see that back, even with such a kind of dark mood that has kind of gone to lately with RWBY. You kind of need that comedic relief that she provides. So really, really excited to see that she still has that, even though it's been very tragic and very dark and just had gone through a lot of trials with everything. So we also see Blake, and she runs into Ilya, and they talk about the fondness, and it kind of goes back to, they obviously used to be very close, and now with like the White Fang rising up to take over, they're on opposite sides. At one token, she wants to warn Blake and help her, but at the same time, she still wants to carry out the will of the White Fang. So they talk about, what's good, right or wrong for the Faunus, and what's right for Menagerie. And of course, Blake knows it's obviously turning into a war with the White Fang and with Menagerie and with everyone, because White Fang wants to essentially take over. So I mean, this has gotten way out of hand even in Menagerie. They also mentioned that James Weiss's father has closed the border, so no one's getting in, no one's getting out, and it's it's been a rough system for them, I'm sure, to get what they need. So I can't imagine how that's going to prevent someone of like Roman or Cinder or even Salem's magnitude from getting in. But you know how that goes. It's RWBY. Then we have them, they talk about the Spring Maiden because they need her to essentially activate and use this relic. And they mention that Yang's mom, Raven, and the Bronwyn tribe that she's a part of, they believe that they have the Spring Maiden, and that they've run away with her, and they don't know where. Well, they don't. Maybe Crow does. And Yang, obviously, is wanting to help with this because it's her mom. So, I mean, if they have the Spring Maiden, who knows what's going to happen with, especially with Cinder becoming the Fall Maiden, and with the suspicion that Ruby is the Summer Maiden. We'll see how that turns out, But they talk to Professor Lionheart. He tries to make them think that nothing weird's going on, and that it's just war, and that this is normal, I guess, for this type of situation. But as they leave, we find out that apparently he's in the clutches of Salem's group, because you hear the older man that's in the group basically chastising him for his improv skills. So obviously they have a hold in Haven. Not to mention, it sounds like they are trying to get information on obviously where the other maidens are, to prevent them from causing them any grief or havoc. So then we finally see what we've been waiting for the past season, and I think it was the end of 3 as well. Oscar Pine, who Oz has kind of embodied, shows up and runs into Jean and the group with Ruby and all them, and basically says, and goes to Crow and says, hey, I'm supposed to tell you I'd like my cane back. And immediately Crow's, realization is that, oh, this is Oz, and he's in this other body, obviously. So that's entertaining nonetheless. And I love the kind of, it seems like they're going more towards, even more towards the kind of Grimm's fairy tale and the fairy tale aspect of it. The opening song that we hear at the end of the episode talks about fairy tales, and we see Yang, and he makes that kind of pun of her being Goldilocks. He's like, this hair color is just right, and of course touches her hair, and you're not her herself. He, I guess like her form or whatever. Oh, you're not too skinny or too thick. You're just right, And when he touches her hair, we know how Yang gets about her hair. She goes into her red eye mode and quickly gets rid of him. So, but then it goes back to Oscar Pine, and he's looking for Ruby, and he mentions that she has silver eyes and that he basically needs to talk to them. So, I mean, the only thing I can think is that he's going to maybe talk to them about what's going on with the war and with Salem, possibly reveal that she's the Summer Maiden, who knows. I also am really, really hoping this season that we finally see Jean's semblance. I mean, this is volume 5, and wow, it's been a while. So, but yeah, that ending though, I mean, we see Salem and that hard kind of rock guitar going on, which is always good. We kind of see it alludes to all of them kind of finding their own, especially like Weiss and Blake and Yang with her new arm and hand, and kind of coming to grips with the way that the world has changed and going to war essentially. So we'll see how that happens. And we had the flashback of when Yang in Yang's short that was released today, I think it was today also, where she saved Ruby, like back in the past, from a Grimm when Ruby was unarmed and didn't have Crescent Rose. So I'm almost wondering if that's not an allusion to us seeing that bond and her protection of Ruby coming out even more in this season. I mean, she's already lost her arm. I really truly hope this is not foreshadowing for something just like what happened to Pyrrha. So I don't want that happening to Yang. Oh, please no. I love you, Barbara Dunkelman. Do not die. You're not allowed. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty intense, and it's only going to get more intense and more dark, and who knows what's going to happen with Salem and Cinder, and just as this comes into play, I really want to see this finally reach its climax and in a epic way, and see these girls and guys hold their own, and maybe that's when we'll see Jean's semblance, who knows. But anyways, that's my kind of review of the first episode of RWBY, and I will continue to review all of the rest of them. Obviously, this is Welcome to Haven, so there's a lot more that's going to be coming with this, and I'm excited to see it. So I also do other reviews. We do reviews of the Orville of Star Trek Discovery. We will be reviewing Stranger Things 2 and Walking Dead when it comes back out. We've reviewed Game of Thrones, and we will continue to do so. Just anything that we find, we may be reviewing Inhumans and Gifted, who knows. But yeah, anything that just kind of comes that's interesting. We'll be doing comics. We'll be interviewing and kind of showing a live broadcast of some amazing FX makeup behind the scenes of like zombies and haunted house and horror makeup, and just what the strenuous, amazing talent that goes into that. We'll be showing a lot of we'll be showing some gameplay and more unboxings like Loot Crate and Loot Anime. I've got Owl Crate, Scotchbox Japanese Snacks, and we also are getting the fandom favorite box, and I'll be getting Anime Bento as well. So, subscribe, follow that. We've got a Destiny 2 game giveaway right now. So watch that video and see how to win a copy of Destiny 2. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/thenerdettes. And I appreciate you guys stopping by. Hope to see you back again soon. Bye!